Have a day, everyone. St. Paul, the Apostle to the Gentile, is definitely one of the most significant figures in the history of Christianity. He is known for his missionary efforts, for his authoritative preachings, and for his courage in proclaiming Christ, who saved him from the darkness of unbelief in the Son of God. But he is also best known for his dramatic conversion. In the book of the Acts of the Apostles, Paul tells us of his conversion story, how he used to be a persecutor of Christians, how he was struck by a blinding light, heard the voice of Jesus, whom he persecuted himself, and how he was healed by Ananias. The beautiful and dramatic story of St. Paul's conversion echoes in the hearts of many people even today. And I myself chose this feast as my ordination date because I am drawn to the miracle of conversion, of breaking and fixing, of unlearning and learning, of restoring and polishing the rough edges of my humanity. A constant process of change until, just as St. Paul said, it is no longer I, but Christ living in me. St. Paul's conversion teaches us that conversion is not only about finding God and hearing His voice. It is more importantly about picking ourselves up and rising up from our fallenness, not going back to our former ways of life. Brothers and sisters, conversion happens not just once in a person's lifetime. A person who is open to conversion is one who knows how fallen he is, but keeps on picking himself up from his many fallen ways. So perhaps it is good to reflect on the areas of our lives wherein we have failed to believe in the power of Jesus, when we have failed to believe in our own God-given strengths, when we have failed to love and to care. The times that instead of doing good and beautiful things, we did something hurtful and sinful. But as we reflect on these things, we must also try to pick ourselves up from this fallenness. How we can allow ourselves to be guided by the light of Jesus and listen to His voice. Detaching ourselves from the many selfish decisions, we begin to make room for Christ, who transforms us into His very image until it is no longer about us, but about Jesus who navigates our will. As St. Paul said, it is no longer I, but Christ living in me. Conversion is not the end of our spiritual journey. It has a purpose. Conversion calls us not only to a change of heart, it calls us to a particular mission. As St. Paul's conversion led him to proclaim the good news to the Gentile world, our conversion also calls us to proclaim Christ to everyone. And what is the use of having a heart like that of Christ if we are not going to manifest it? What's the use of finding and living in the light of Christ if we are not going to reveal it, to reveal this light to others? What's the use of hearing the voice of Jesus if only we are to silence it? How can we expect a beautiful transformation of the world if our conversion is directed only towards ourselves and has no missionary mandate? Therefore, conversion calls us to stand up and begin to reveal Christ's heart, to reveal His light and His voice to the world. Conversion calls us to walk and become active participants in the salvific mission of Christ, to ignite in the world the love of God that Christ manifested throughout His earthly life. My brothers and sisters, the story of the conversion of St. Paul invites us to start our own conversion story, to start our transformation from our fallenness to victory, from our brokenness into a beautiful masterpiece, from sinfulness to purity, until we finally become the person we ought to be as missionaries of Christ's light, life, and love to all of humanity. Si Jesus en bendice.